So Paul McCartney on his book of lyrics, he says, writing a song is unlike anything I know. He's like, you have to be in the right mind. You have to be in be in the right mind. You have to have you have to be in the right mood. You have to have a clear mind, and you must trust your initial feelings, because in the beginning you don't really know where you're going. So there's another example, which I don't know why I didn't remember in the moment, but you got Leonard Hamilton, you got Paul McCartney, you got Steve Jobs, all these people that we idolize, these people that we're like, oh my God, who are you? You are this amazing person in our society, right? And there's quotes out there that say we idolize these people because they're like the greatest expression of what's possible for humanity, right? So if we think about that for a moment, so like whether they're an athlete, whether they're a scientist, whether they're a business person, or whether there's someone in your life that you just like, they've been so impactful on your life and they've done so many things for you, or anything. It's like we're seeing an example of what's possible, and it's almost like a limit. It's almost like we're these people have pushed the limit, right? We know what the limit is. These people have gone beyond that limit. They've created their own limit. There's no limit for them. Right. And so how can we think about that and potentially apply it to our lives? Right. And for me, the biggest decision I ever made was to start applying things in my life, and to start, even though I had the opportunity and again, I'm so grateful to have had the awareness to reflect on things as to how decisions and choices that I had made. But like, if we don't apply it, right, we read all these quotes, they're all great. We all resonate them. We hear these songs that seem like, they make us happy, they make us joyful. But how many of us actually look at the words and actually think, oh, maybe I can, this sounds good, but have I applied this in my life? Right. And is it something that, what would happen if we did that? I mean, I never gave myself the chance until recently, and I can tell you it's worth it. We all got to give it a shot, but at least for me, it was worth it. And I think that that's something that they're all right in front of us. There's so many things that are right in front of us that we almost miss it, because we're always going to the next thing. We're always trying to look for the next thing. We're always looking, where are we going? All right, we got here. Oh, we barely got here. We got to go. We got to be ready to go there, right? Whether it's in business or whether it's in our personal lives. I was absolutely guilty of that. I was never, that's per my example of I can't even meditate, right? I wasn't even able to sit down for 3 minutes, much less 20 or an hour. And here I am trying to speak about a journey, right? And I was trying to go to the next place all the time. That's all I was doing. And it was really grounding, in a sense, to be able to just have the awareness that, all right, we can be here. And then that ties to the present moment thing, right? So if we're not running to the next thing, and we're not always thinking about the next thing, which is Joe Dispenza's The Predictable Future, right? Like, okay, then give ourselves an opportunity to be present. And oh my God, like the things that I pay attention to now, new buds on plants that are, flowering, birds that are flying by, birds that are chirping, butterflies, grass that's growing, all of these things that I was only looking for the imperfections. I was like, oh, this is dead over here, or this doesn't look good, or, this isn't good. And going back to the, baseline of perfection, why not? Like, again, we have so many things that we're always worried about in our lives. Like, if we like say, all right, everything's perfect, let's build on it. It's almost like giving ourselves credit to be able to just be free for a moment, right? And instead of chasing perfection, it's already here. What if it's already here? And you know what? Anybody that says, oh, that's not true, well, listen. Good. Everybody has their own choice. Everybody has their own opinion. But while you're over there trying to prove me wrong or prove anybody wrong that makes a decision to give something like that a try, or anything in their life, I'll be over here doing my thing, having a great time, living life, trying to find the joy in things instead of thinking about the things that come up, which, the negative things, the anxious things, the stressful things, they happen. They come up. Right. And every one of them. And I've had one of probably the biggest lessons of my journey these past, several weeks, which I almost decided to cancel this show. But I said, you know what? if I'm really doing this and I'm really showing what's real in the present moment, I can't be just canceling the show because I feel like something happened to me in my life today. And if I'm in the present moment, well, then I'm not worrying about that stuff that's bothering me. And, how can I sit here and say that and be that person? Right. And so I'm like, all right, let me pull my bootstraps up and let me come here and be here with you today and kick off our show that's about being insanely great in every moment and giving ourselves the opportunity to do that and giving ourselves credit for who we are and making progress. And we're going to have good days and we're going to have bad days and we're going to have the opportunity to have experiences to which in every one of those, we can either look at something that we want to challenge and argue and fight against or force a result that we think that we want to exude an element of control, or we can let it be and just go with the flow, right? I mean, one of the best examples of going with the flow, I'll reference again the Get Back documentary. These guys, the things that came up, whether it was a location, whether it was a song, whether it was George leaving the group, I mean, they were like, like they expressed their thoughts, but they didn't get upset, they didn't get angry, they stayed in the present moment and they let things flow. And looking at examples there, and again, and quoting Joe Dispenza, is how you think and how you feel creates your personal reality, and thus your personality, right? And so it's like, all right, so if it really is, and again, going back to the light and information thing, right? So in manifesting that, or whatever it is you want to call it, if how you think and how you feel, if it's really that simple, well, my God, how do you do that? How do you do that? Like, how do you, well, so number one, for me, at least, I had to have awareness. All right, well, like, if that's really true, then literally every thought I think and every feeling I feel, which Joe helps understand, that Joe Dispenza helps understand that the body, the feeling, the emotions are stored in the body, right? And our thoughts are here. And so you can't, it's almost like, and what I learned is you can't just think about something, you got to feel it. You got to have that positive feeling. Right. And I don't know if it's my own personal reality, but the Ted Lasso episode that just aired the other day, I mean, episode 2, oh my God. Like, if you want to talk about thinking and feeling and believing and having something come to fruition, and a program that helps explain the most clear, eloquent example of that, oh my God.